Joining me now is Tom Homan, former acting ICE director and a Fox News contributor, and former DNC comms director and former communications advisor to President Obama, Luis Miranda. Tom, besides the wall, what other legislative fixes must Congress do?
Well, I think the two top ones are the TVPRA, Trafficking Victims Protection Act. This is when unaccompanied children come across the border. The Central American children are treated differently than children from Mexico, Canada. Once they find out they're not true victims of trafficking, if you're from Mexico or Canada, they can remove them right away. But from Central America, they get all these extra rights. They end up staying in the country for years, going through an immigration process that the Mexican children and Canadian children don't get. So we need to fix that. All the children need to have the same set of rules. And that will solve a lot of the UAC crisis. The other thing is...
The unaccompanied children.
Right.
Unaccompanied minor
unaccompanied children. The second thing...
But Tom, those numbers, I mean, numbers kind of can be sterile. Those numbers are staggering. So when these people on television are like, well, the numbers have gone down from 2004, and they show the chart, and we're all supposed to go, ooh, the chart. 63,000 people come in. I mean, those kids have to go to public school. Right. They have to be cared for. They often are on food stamps, other public assistance. We got 2 blocks from here, people sleeping in the streets who have a sign that say, I'm an Air Force veteran sleeping in the streets tonight.
That makes a good point. So let's add the other legislative priority that needs to take place, 160,000 family units. Now, what we need to address there is a Flores settlement agreement, because a Ninth Circuit judge ruled that we can't detain families for more than 20 days. Now, back in FY14, when we first started family detention, we had these hearings within 40, 45 days. And once we filled planes up with 90% that lost their hearings, the numbers went down of the illegal crossings. But some judge in the Ninth Circuit says, no, you can't detain more than 20 days. Exactly. Which means they get released. And that's why there's a surge of family members right now, because they know they won't be detained. They get released into the public. Many don't show up in court. And even if they show up in court and lose their case, which 91% lose their case, less than 2% leave. That is an open borders agenda. So we need to address the Flores settlement agreement. Okay,
the Flores settlement agreement has to be released. Luis, it seems that just a few years ago, Democrats believed in border walls. I remember Operation Gatekeeper in San Diego. That was a Bill Clinton initiative. I covered it for CBS News. In 1996, I was down there at the border like, wow, Operation Gatekeeper. Huge barrier, steel barrier. They were all for it.
Let's break this down with the two issues.
What's changed?
One of the issues here is that Donald Trump is an expert at creating a crisis like he did with Korea.
So you deny that this is a crisis at all?
I think that this is a problem that we can deal with very efficiently. We have the resources, we have the people, we have the ability to fix this.
We don't have the people. I honestly want you to, I hate interrupting you. I don't want to interrupt, but we don't have the manpower
let me clarify
to
this.
Process people.
Donald Trump, just as he did with North Korea, as he does with China, he creates a crisis, then compromises, and then
I just laid out what in my angle did I lay out?
This is Richard Haas, Counsel on Foreign Relations.
Oh, Richard Haas. Yeah, he's a big supporter of. Richard Haas is in favor of enforcing other people's borders. Believe me,
but now let's take the immigration piece.
Okay, so what in my angle did you specifically disagree with? What numbers? What?
One of the important things to note is that the Trump administration itself, DHS, under Donald Trump in 2017, pointed out that they are at some of the historically lowest numbers of people trying to cross the border. Now, there does seem to appear to be a surge in October and November, but we're not by any means at a crisis level. This is a situation that, yes, we need to do more to work with the 3 countries of Northern and Central America, Honduras, Nicaragua, and El Salvador, to make sure that we're identifying ways to, 1, reduce the violence there, fight some of the criminal organizations, and perhaps work with them to establish points where we can help with these people so that they can request asylum from there.
So 400,000 people crossing our border is not a crisis. I just have to understand that. I just have to understand. I know you are well-intentioned, and I think you want a solution to this. I get it. But how is it not a bipartisan issue when 400,000 people come into our country illegally every year? How is that? I don't care if it's down from 1.2 million from 5 years ago. That's bad, too. But 400,000 people, they have to go to public school. They use our infrastructure. They get a range of benefits.
Plenty of border security. We have more than 16,000 Border Patrol agents right now. We have drones flying, and we have more than 700 miles of fence.
What do drones do to pay for a kid's college, high school education?
Drones don't arrest people. Look, the same people that claim there isn't a crisis on the border claim there wasn't a caravan. And we found out differently, didn't we? There's a crisis on the border. 2 children have died. And if President Trump would, if we wasn't sued by the ACLU and some Ninth Circuit judge says, no, you can enter illegally and still claim asylum, if they would have stuck with what President Trump wanted, come to the port of entry, claim asylum, these 2 children would be alive today because they wouldn't have had to cross between the ports of entry.
There's definitely an important incentive to tell parents, don't pay smugglers, don't work with these criminal elements that are taking you through all these countries to get to the southern border. That's fine. We can all agree on that.
I don't think any of the. I don't think any country in Central America would want 400,000 people. I mean, I know it's different because they're smaller countries. They wouldn't want a big mass of people coming into their countries who they believed weren't invited or not welcome. No country wants a free flow of humanity across the border. I don't know any country personally that wants that.
The reason that this is a mess right now is because the wall is not necessarily the right way to fix this, because we already have 7 miles of fencing. There's definitely ways that we can improve the technology along the border.
Does Operation Gatekeeper work in San Diego?
I don't recall the specifics of it.
The reality is we have a lot
of fence there already. We have it all the way to El Paso. And there's plenty of other things that we need to do. For example, detectors of seismic changes because of the tunnels that they build underneath. And those are the true criminal smugglers.
Yeah, they are.
So every place they build.
Democrats
I'll be in favor of that. I'm good for that.
To shut down the government and have 500,000 people not getting paychecks.
To his point, a wall takes a long time. How does that address a crisis? A wall is not going to be built overnight. So how's that dealing with a crisis,
First of all, let's be clear. I was at a meeting on the White House today. I made it clear one of the things he needs to talk about is walls do work. Every place they built a barrier, illegal immigration plummeted. In San Diego, Yuma, El Paso. So he needs to put that false narrative that Nancy Pelosi pushed out, that walls are ineffective, they're medieval. No, the data proves that wall works. So let's educate the American people first of wall work. But we need to talk about legislative changes, because families are going to keep coming if they keep getting released.
Yeah,
I mean, that's enticement.
If you're released, you're coming. I don't even blame them.
Trump-made crisis that is not worth shutting the government over.
Well,
when there are ways that we can deal with increases in immigration, ways that we can deal with the Central American problem.
So you basically, when they come, you want them to stay.
Drug trafficking. I think that we obviously have to allow someone who wants to apply for asylum to apply for it. But there's ways
they should stay, basically.
There's ways to deal with these people even before they get to the border without creating an unnecessary crisis and shutting down the government and having 500,000 Americans who are not going to get a paycheck for over a month right now.
Well, they haven't not been paid. They will be paid when the government reopens.
They haven't been paid since the 22nd.
But the Democrats don't want a border at all. Isn't that the case? They don't want a border.
They will be paid at the 25th of this month.
You don't answer the question. That kind of reveals a lot to me.
I said very clearly that we have always prioritized border security, but do it smartly, not just build a wall.
Smart border security, like Swiss cheese. That's Swiss cheese border.
What's he going to do?
But I just can't believe you're watching the media coverage. You're watching the media coverage. You're watching the media coverage on TV, but you're going to say that Trump invented this crisis.
It's just not. This has been
worked on the same side.
All right, guys, we're out of time. We're going to go to the next reader. All right, thanks, you two.